Should we be expressing our negative emotions to a man? And if so, how do we do that? When do we do that? I want to get into that in this video. Now, we definitely should be expressing our emotions and our feelings to a man because that is our inner world. And the way that a man relates to a woman is through her inner world. There's no other way that a man can really get into a woman's soul and energy and like really feel her if he's not able to experience what's going on within you. And your inner world your inner world is going to help him connect to you. So yes, we definitely want to express our emotions to a man. It also allows a man to feel your authenticity, right? Because if we're withholding how we feel, we're not being authentic. So we definitely want to be authentic in relationships, and that plays a key role in a man also being able to fall in love with you. Hold on, Milo, move. Okay. He's blocking the light, this guy. Okay, so how do we express our emotions? When do we express our emotions, etc.? So there's a few things I want to get into in this video. So one, I am not a fan of feeling messages. I know some coaches talk about feeling messages with men. Like, my position on men is men are strong, men are capable, and men don't need to be babied and coddled. So I don't believe that you need to, be on tiptoes when you're speaking to a man. That's a man can handle a woman's emotions, right? So I'm talking about the masculine and feminine energies. As a feminine woman, if I have to think about how to approach a man, he's not the man for me. He's too weak. So let's just put that on, let's just kind of put that out there. So that being said, that doesn't mean that we want to be emasculating to a man, but it's also important to recognize that when you're too soft with a man, or you are going to him and treating him like a child, that is also emasculating to a man, because that belief then is that, well, a man can't handle my emotions. And of course a man can handle your emotions. Like, that is the masculine, right? The feminine is a wide spectrum of emotion. That is what is so attractive to men, your emotions. And of course, a man can handle that. Now, there is a way to communicate your emotions to a man that is not emasculating and aggressive. And I'm going to get into that in this video. So I am not into being soft, I'm not into babying a man. Let's just say that. I'm not into that. That's games. That's manipulative. That is moving with an assumption that men are weak. And I don't believe that. I believe men are strong. Men are capable. The right man wants to feel your authenticity. He doesn't need to be babied. You're not his mom. So feeling messages and having to speak to a man as if he's a child, if he's a healthy man, it's going to turn him off. It's not attractive. Men are really attracted to women that are direct. So, and I'll get into that in this video. But before I do that, when should we be communicating our emotions? And is it necessary to always communicate our emotions? So there's a few things here, because I get a lot of women that are booking calls with me now and email sessions with me, which is amazing. But there's a few things going on here that I think you need to really be aware of. And if you haven't read my books, definitely read the books. Secrets of the Feminine Woman, I'll teach you the core principles of being a feminine woman, and What Men Want teaches you about masculine energy men, right? These are balanced men. These are the men that you want and usually ghost you or you claim are avoidant. They're not avoidant. Men are not avoidant, right? With the right woman, they are not avoidant. But you have to understand men first to understand how to open them up. So when it comes to emotions and how to express it, you have to, first of all, you want to see what stage of the relationship you're in with him, right? In the beginning of a relationship, and I go deeper into the stages in What Men Want, but in the beginning of a relationship, a man is not really looking for anything heavy. And so if you are approaching subjects with a man and you are emotionally charged or upset with him, he's definitely going to run for the hills, because a man doesn't want that. It's the beginning of a relationship. So the first few months of a relationship, if you are a quality woman, you're not going to have any sort of emotions that are negative that you're going to want to communicate to a man anyway, because this is the stage where he's going to be pursuing you. This is the stage where everything's going to feel good because he's going to be pursuing you. He's going to be his best. So if a man is not his best in the beginning, so the first, let's say, 6 months, you're doing something wrong, because a man in the beginning, when he meets a quality woman and he's attracted to the woman, so this isn't games, this is not words, this is attraction, okay? I'm teaching you guys attraction. If he's attracted to the woman, he's going to be his best because he wants to win her over, and his instincts to win this woman over are going to kick in, and he's going to be at his best. So if he's not at his best in the beginning, he's not feeling your energy and he's not feeling attraction towards you. So in the beginning of a relationship or courtship or dating, let's just say it's dating and then it turns into courtship. And I get into that in the books, but in the beginning of a relationship or the dating phase, you don't want to communicate your negative emotions, because first of all, it makes you look really desperate and it makes you look really weak, right? You want to observe a man. You want to observe what he's doing. And again, the reason I focus on inner work is when you're a quality woman has her emotions in check, understands herself, and has self-awareness. This is why go over the inner work course. There's 19 modules in that course. It's filled with so much information because it was a coaching program. I go into masculine, feminine energy. I give you so much awareness. I talk about the soul. I talk about your mother, your patterns. There's so much in that course. And the reason I made it so affordable is because I want to reach as many people as I can, and I want you guys to heal, because private coaching with me is very expensive now. Okay, a quality woman is a woman that has her emotions in checks and feels confident about herself. So she comes to the table with a lot, right? She understands how to manage her emotions. She's independent, yet she wants to be in a relationship. She values marriage, and she has a lot of integrity, is very loyal, is very secure, and really treats her partner like a king, right? She comes to the table with a lot, but she won't give a man the benefits of who she is until a man has proven herself. So a quality woman comes with this mindset. And so when she's dating, she's observing men. She's observing to see, how is he showing up? Like, is he consistent? And I go into this in the book. Is he setting up dates? Is he respectful? How is he showing up? And she's in an observation mode, right? If you were getting mad at a man during this phase, I hate to say it to you, you have inner work to do, because you shouldn't be getting mad at a man during this phase. Either a man is like meeting you where you want, or either he's meeting you at a certain level or he's not. And if he's not, I know a lot of women in the comments will say to me that I'm blaming women. It's not blame. It's called taking accountability and self-responsibility. And I don't do this victim stuff, right? If you want to have a strong, healthy man, you have to be accountable for yourself. And if a man is not pursuing you because it's in a man's DNA to pursue a woman, I hate to say it to you, you're doing something that is pushing this man away, okay? If you don't like that, you don't need to follow me, right? But I'm letting you know how men work, okay? It's about taking personal responsibility, because then you're never going to meet someone that you're interested in. You're always going to meet people that you're not interested in, and the ones that you're interested in are going to ghost you because they don't want to deal with that energy. And women that have this idea that I'm blaming men or I'm blaming women, oftentimes that energy, first of all, is very bad, and oftentimes you're going to notice that men are going to be like not attracted to you. So anytime there's a trigger, look within. Don't lash out, because that's projection. Okay, So in this stage, you don't want to communicate your emotions to a man. Why? Because he doesn't owe you anything, and he's also dating, and he's also trying to figure out like who is the best match for him, and he's dating, right? No one owes anyone anything, right? And so you don't want to be upset at a man at this stage, because as soon as you get mad at a man at this stage, what he's thinking in his mind is, holy, she's getting mad at me. I'm not even her boyfriend. I have not even committed to her. What's it gonna be like when I'm like committing to her and in a relationship with her? That's gonna be brutal, and I don't want to deal with that. At this stage, this is when men ghost, because they don't want to deal with your negative emotions. Because if you're already getting mad that he's not calling you, or he's not setting up dates, or etc., anything at this stage, when he doesn't have to do it, he doesn't owe you anything, he's not committed to you, then obviously if he tells you he's not interested or anything like that, he's going to have to deal with conflict. And most good men don't want to deal with conflict, nor should they. They don't know you. They're getting to know you. Everyone is their own individual soul on this path to meet their partner. No one owes anyone anything. So at this stage of a relationship, I would definitely not get mad. I would look inward. I would figure out what I want in a relationship, and I would look to see, is a man showing up in the way that makes me feel good as a woman. If you're a feminine woman, you're going to want to be pursued. You're not going to put all of your cards on the table just because you're not desperate, and you just won't, because you understand that there are a lot of men vying for your attention, and you want the best man. You want the best mate. This is evolution, right? This is what's encoded in our system, right? Like a healthy woman is very traditional, right? Because she doesn't want just any man. She wants the strongest, fittest man. She wants a man that's going to be able to protect and provide and take care of her. This is evolution, right? A woman that's healthy is not going to just go for any like man on the street, right? So at this stage, if a woman is getting mad and if you're getting upset at a man, I would look internally. You can book a session with me, and I will like go into your specific situation with you. I don't do specific situations in comments because that's just kind of difficult to do. Okay, now if you are in a relationship, what happens when we get into a relationship or the courting phase? Now, when a man is starting to pursue you, there's more of a, I guess, like obligation or responsibility that he has towards you. But on top of that, he's also interested in you because he's invested in you, and you kind of have a lot more room there to express yourself to him, and he wants that. But the way in which you want to express yourself to a man during this stage is also in a lighthearted way. So you don't want to go to a man, especially initially when he's done something, with blame, mistrust, anger, defensiveness. If anyone approaches me with defensiveness or anger when it's not something that I deserve, immediately I'm going to shut down. Like, I'm just going to shut down, right? And the reason for that is because I can emotionally regulate so I don't get triggered, right? And if I get triggered, I don't lash out. I internally regulate and manage my emotions, and then I assess is this situation worthy of me getting upset. I don't lash out at people or become defensive at people. It makes the other person shut down. So if you get upset by something, you don't want to lash out at your partner, because if you lash out at your partner, especially if he's a masculine energy man, or like let's just say a healthy, secure person, immediately they're going to shut down and they're going to become defensive, and they're also going to move into protecting themselves, right? Which is human nature. A person, if someone is coming at someone with a reaction that is not proportionate to what the person is doing, the natural reaction for the other person is to also move into protection mode because you're not safe. So a man is going to do that. So you want to be aware of the way in which you are communicating with a man before you communicate anything negative to him. And you also want to make sure that you understand that men always want to make you happy. So unless he's a shitty person, and if you are dating a shitty person, again, you need to look inward as to why are you dating a shitty person? Because if you're dating a shitty person or someone that is toxic, we attract that which we are, point blank, period, right? You want to be with a good quality person, be that, right? Because you won't attract a shitty person, right? I won't attract or be attracted to weak men because I'm strong as a woman, right? I won't be attracted to people that are not in integrity, honest, and themselves, or an ego, because I am not that. I'm a heart-centered woman. So you can't, if you're attracting toxicity, toxicity lives within you and you want to heal that. Again, this is not to be triggered, this is awareness. So if he's doing something, you want to really understand why you're upset, and you really want to like get your emotions in check before you speak to the other person, because if you lash out at him, he's going to get defensive. If he's a secure man, he's going to get defensive. If he's a weak man, or a man that's more in his feminine energy, that means that you're a very dominant woman and he's going to appease you, but behind your back, he's going to resent you and he's going to hate you. And if he meets a woman that like inspires his masculinity, he will either leave you or he'll cheat on you. And again, this is human behavior, right? People can only be put down for so long until someone else that lifts them up picks up their spirit and they move toward that. Like, it's just common sense, right? And so you want to first of all assess, like, how am I communicating, and is this something that is worthy for me to communicate with him, and am I nagging, right? So again, if you're nagging, as an example, if a man is just always leaving wet towels, these are kind of personal examples where, let's say, like, he leaves a wet towel on top of a dry towel. Those are things I would not communicate about, because I don't care. Who cares, right? If your partner is washing the dishes and there's water all around, again, who cares, right? He's not a woman. He's not going to do the dishes the way you do, right? Those instances I would communicate in a very lighthearted way, right? Like, babe, I just noticed that it's so funny, you always leave a wet towel on top of a dry towel. Or, babe, do you mind just like drying the counter, because it's granite and I don't want it to get bad with water, right? That's what my energy is with these day-to-day things, right? Because it's not a big deal. Who cares, right? Who cares? If we're getting mad at a man for those things, or, oh, he hasn't taken the garbage out, or he's not helping, and we're lashing out at him, you're not going to get the response that you want from him, because he's going to lash out at you back and he's going to be very, very upset with you. Because again, you're not his mom, right? People don't want to be controlled. And so if you're yelling at him and saying, you never help me, you never take the garbage out, he's going to retaliate against that, because again, he's not a child, right? And if you're too soft and you're like, and you say to him, I feel so bad when you don't take the garbage out, that again is also weird, and it's emasculating, because you're not treating him like a man. So treating him like a man is, babe, I really appreciate when you help me take the garbage out and you help me clean up after dinner, because I really want to hang out with you and just like watch TV and rest after dinner, and my mind is like all scattered when we have like so many things to do, and I just want to like relax. So do you mind just helping me clean up right after we eat dinner? You will get a very good response with him if you communicate like that with him. So it's direct, it's feminine, it's strong, it's not needy, you're not whining, you're just communicating what you need from him, right? And you'll get a pretty good response from him when you communicate that way. Into a relationship, if you have to tell a man to do something multiple times, now oftentimes a man will need to be reminded several times about something, because again, a man's mind doesn't work the way our mind works, and again, that's not a big deal, right? I've had to do that as well, like continue to remind about certain things. When it's small things, it's not really a big deal. You just want to remember that their minds don't work the way that our minds do. When it comes to bigger things and boundaries, you want to establish everything in the beginning, right? So in the beginning, you want to establish what you're comfortable with and what you're not comfortable with. And again, you don't need to be emotional to tell a man what you need and what your boundaries are in the beginning, right? You can just say, look, in a relationship, I want to feel like I'm priority. And like, let's say there's an ex and there's kids involved and the ex is like crazy, right? And she's calling all the time because she's jealous and whatever. The way you want to communicate that is, look, I'm not going to be comfortable with this situation if there's no boundaries, because I don't want to feel like the person I'm with is controlled by another woman. That's just uncomfortable for me. And I'm not a woman that's going to be comfortable with that. That's it, right? Then he needs to correct that. Now, if you communicate something to a man and he's not correcting it, and you notice he's not correcting it, you don't want to get emotional about it, because you lose your power at that point. Instead, what I recommend is, when you communicate something to a man and he acknowledges it, and then later on you find that that behavior is continuing, you can approach it two ways. If he comes to you and he's vulnerable and he says to you, I'm having a hard time with this because of whatever situation or whatever, that's being vulnerable, and you can be understanding and empathize with that. If he lies or he continues the negative behavior and you find out about that, you are going to be very upset about that, and that is natural, right? What I recommend to do at that point is to leave. And I don't care if you're engaged, I don't care if you're married, and I don't care if you have kids. These are all excuses. If a man is lying, if a man is not providing, if a man is doing anything inappropriate that he should not be doing, and you've communicated it, the next step is to leave. And again, any excuse that a person uses to stay with an unhealthy person is low value and insecurity, right? Even if you're a man. So if you're a man and you're with a woman that parties, cheats, and you have kids, again, you need to figure out a game plan to leave, right? Because you can't be in a situation, especially when there's kids, and teach kids that it's okay to stay in situations that are bad, because kids learn through modeling. So you can't tell your child, I want you to be a strong person and stick up when someone bullies you, but you don't do it. Like you tolerate bad behavior and bad treatment, and then you're telling your kids through words, stand up for yourself, but then you're not demonstrating that. So again, 99% of this world operates from very low self-esteem, and they stay with partners for the wrong reason. So if someone is crossing a boundary, they're cheating, lying is also a boundary that why would you want to be with someone that is lying to you, right? That's a boundary. So if it is like a boundary like that, and you're in a relationship with this person and you've communicated it, because the first time you communicate anything to someone, you don't need to be excessive in your emotion. You can literally just say, this is not something that I can handle, and allow the other person to do what they have to do to correct it, right? They will either say, well, this is how I am, this is how I live my life, and it is what it is. And you can say, all right, we're not a match then, bye, right? Or they'll say, I get it, and I'm going to fix it, because they want to be with you, right? And people know at an internal level what is appropriate and what is not appropriate, right? But they're going to push things as far as they can, especially men, because they want to make their life as easy as possible. And people are like this, right? If they can get away with it, they'll get away with it, right? But it's up to you to uphold the standards that you want. But internally, men know when something is inappropriate. Men know how to treat a woman. Every man knows, right? So if they're doing certain things and you don't like it, and you've communicated it and you've done it in a high value way, the next recourse is you want to separate yourself. You want to say, this is not something that I can tolerate, and I don't feel comfortable in this environment. This is not a healthy environment for me, because this is creating instability within me, and you lied. I don't trust you, right? If you're a feminine woman, you're not going to want to be with a man that lies, that you don't trust, because you won't feel safe with that man, right? if you can't be safe with a man, you're not going to be in your feminine. You're going to be in your masculine energy because you're going to be protecting yourself from him, right? So at that point, you want to leave and you want to, I'm not saying you need to divorce or anything like that. It depends on the stage of the relationship, but you definitely want to leave that situation. And not for any reason, not to teach men a lesson, like not for any reason, but because it's an unhealthy situation for yourself. And why would you want to spend the rest of your life with someone that treats you badly? Why would you want to do that? And again, kids is not an excuse, because your kids are growing up. The reason most of us are messed up is because we have parents that sucked, quite frankly, right? We have parents that we didn't see our parents in love. We didn't see healthy communication. We didn't see our mothers healthy. We saw our mothers either overreactive or very wounded or like with multiple men, right? We saw our fathers be emotionally disconnected. We saw the relationship between the mother and our mother and father very like bad. Why do you think most people are walking around wounded? This is the reason. This is why I focus on inner work, right? Because we have to heal certain patterns in our life that we've adopted from our parents. So why would you want to instill that in your kids, right? It is the saddest excuse to me when people use the reason of kids. At least own that you're afraid to leave because of the financial reasons, right? It's not about the kids. Because if you really, really love your kids, you're going to say to yourself, this is not a good environment for my kids to see. And this is going to be very hard to leave the situation, but I'm going to have to do it because I don't want my kids to see this, because I don't want my kids to attract a partner that lies to them, because what they're seeing is not healthy. So I hope this was helpful. This was a really long video. When I say leave, when you do that, what you're doing, and again, when you do your inner work, you're not going to want to stay with someone that mistreats you, right? It just comes from your own confidence and your own self-esteem. When I say to leave, having space allows a person to reflect and allows a person to decide what they want to do in terms of their next steps, right? It also allows a man to step into his like true, healthy, empowered nature, right? When you empower a man to behave badly or a woman to behave badly because you're just there and you're so weak and you're just going to take it, because words don't do anything to a person, right? Words don't do anything. You can tell a person over and over again the same thing. They're not going to change their behavior. Actions wake a person up, right? Consequences do. Words don't do anything, right? The way in which a person is embodied and shows up, that is what inspires another person to change if they want to change. And so if you communicate over and over and over again to a man about the same thing, he's not necessarily going to leave. So in terms of like how you should leave, it depends on the situation. So if you're in a situation where you're in a marriage and it's not working, you can just book a call with me, or book an email session with me. I've worked with many women that were in marriages and they did have to step away, and the relationship fully changed. Working with dynamics and relationship dynamics is the best, and it's very easy for me to fix a situation. But again, it just depends on the situation. So book a call with me or book an email session with me. And I'll catch you on the next one. I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye.